You've been lied to. Every single productivity guru, every morning routine video, every self-help book has sold you the same garbage wrapped in different packaging. They tell you the top 1% wake up at 5 a.m. They tell you it's about cold showers and meditation and bullet journals. They tell you if you just follow their exact routine and you'll break through. And you believed it. You set your alarm earlier. You bought the ice bath. You started journaling. And you're still exactly where you were 6 months ago. The brutal truth. The top 1% aren't hiding some secret morning ritual from you. They're playing a completely different game. And while you're optimizing your breakfast smoothie, they're making moves you can't even see yet. What separates them from you isn't discipline. It's not willpower. It's something far more uncomfortable than that. Here's what's actually happening while you chase these routines. You wake up at 5 a.m. feeling like a warrior. You do your cold shower. You meditate for 20 minutes. You journal your gratitudes. You read 10 pages of a book. By 7 a.m., you've checked off 6 boxes on your morning routine checklist, and you feel accomplished. You feel productive. You feel like you're finally doing what successful people do. But here's the problem. You just spent 2 hours on activities that generate $0, 0 leverage, and 0 actual progress toward anything that matters. You traded the illusion of productivity for real productivity. The top 1% aren't waking up and following a checklist. They're waking up and immediately asking one question: what's the highest leverage action I can take today? And most of the time, that action has nothing to do with their morning routine. While you're doing your 19th sun salutation, they're on a call closing a deal. While you're writing in your gratitude journal, they're writing an email that will 10x their business. While you're meditating on abundance, they're creating it. You've been sold a lie because morning routines are easy to package and sell. They're tangible. They're repeatable. They make you feel like you're in control. But control over the wrong things is just another form of distraction. You're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic and calling it progress. The routine isn't the problem. Your focus on the routine is the problem. The shift happens the moment you realize that success isn't input-based, it's output-based. The top 1% don't care how many hours you worked. They don't care how early you woke up. They don't care about your Pomodoro technique or your time blocking system. They care about one thing. Did you move the needle? Did you create something valuable? Did you solve a problem worth solving? This is the reframe that changes everything. Stop measuring your day by how busy you were. Stop counting the tasks you completed. Stop congratulating yourself for being disciplined. Start measuring your day by the impact you created. One email that brings in a $50,000 client is worth more than 100 emails to people who will never buy. One conversation that opens a door is worth more than 100 conversations that go nowhere. One decision to kill a project that's draining you is worth more than 100 hours trying to save it. The top 1% have figured out that time is their most valuable asset, and they guard it like their life depends on it. Because it does. They don't have better routines. They have better filters. They don't do more. They do less, but what they do compounds. While you're trying to balance everything, they're ruthlessly eliminating everything that doesn't create exponential returns. That's the invisible shift from addition to subtraction, from doing more to doing what matters. Let's get specific. There are 3 pillars the top 1% actually operate from, and none of them will fit on a motivational Instagram post. First, ruthless prioritization over balance. They don't believe in work-life balance. They believe in seasons. There are seasons where work consumes everything, because that's when the opportunity is. There are seasons where they step back because they've built systems that run without them. But they never, ever try to balance everything at once. Balance is a myth sold to keep you mediocre. When you try to give everything equal attention, nothing gets the attention it needs to break through. The top 1% pick one thing, go all in, and don't apologize for it. They say no to good opportunities because they're waiting for great ones. They cancel plans. They disappoint people. They make uncomfortable choices because they understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that could change their life. Second, they build compounding assets over trading time for money. They're not working harder. They're working on things that grow while they sleep. Businesses that scale, content that reaches millions, investments that appreciate, systems that automate, skills that become more valuable over time. They stopped trading hours for dollars the moment they could, and they invested every spare resource into building leverage. You're still thinking about your next paycheck. They're thinking about what will pay them in 5 years. You're optimizing your day. They're optimizing their decade. Third, they surround themselves with people who raise their standards. Not people who make them feel comfortable. Not people who validate their excuses. People who make them feel like they're falling behind, even when they're winning. They pay for proximity. They join masterminds. They cold email people way above their level and offer value first. They understand that your environment determines your trajectory more than your discipline ever will. You can have the perfect routine and the wrong people around you, and you'll still stay stuck. They'd rather have no routine in the right room. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Everything I just told you sounds good in theory, but when you actually try to implement it, you'll feel resistance like you've never felt before. Because ruthless prioritization means telling your friend you can't make their event. It means declining a project that would pay you right now because it would distract you from the bigger thing. It means sitting with the fear that you're making the wrong choice. Building compounding assets means you might go months or years without seeing results. It means putting in work today that won't pay you tomorrow. It means fighting the urge to go back to trading time for immediate money because immediate money feels safe. Surrounding yourself with higher level people means you'll be the dumbest person in the room. It means admitting you don't know things. It means being uncomfortable constantly. Most people aren't willing to feel that discomfort. They say they want success, but what they really want is comfort with better branding. They want the results without the awkward conversations. They want the freedom without the sacrifice. They want the leverage without the risk. And that's why they stay average. The top 1% are willing to be misunderstood. They're willing to look like they're failing for longer than most people can stomach. They're willing to kill projects they've poured months into because the data says it's not working. That's the part nobody talks about. The routine is easy. The identity shift is brutal. So here's what you do. Not tomorrow, not Monday, right now. You pick one thing you're doing that feels productive, but creates zero leverage, and you kill it. Maybe it's that side project that's been dragging for 8 months. Maybe it's that client who pays you but drains your energy. Maybe it's that habit you've convinced yourself is non-negotiable. Cut it. Then you pick one high leverage action you've been avoiding because it's uncomfortable, and you do it this week. Maybe it's reaching out to someone way above your level. Maybe it's publishing the thing you've been perfecting for months. Maybe it's having the conversation you've been putting off. Do it scared. The top 1% aren't special. They're just willing to do what you're not. They're willing to be uncomfortable longer. They're willing to make the cuts you won't make. They're willing to look obsessed to people who will never understand. You don't need a new routine. You need a new filter. You need to stop asking what successful people do and start asking what unsuccessful people tolerate. Because the answer is everything. They tolerate distractions. They tolerate energy vampires. They tolerate good enough. And that tolerance is what keeps them exactly where they are. You have everything you need right now to make the shift. The question is whether you'll actually do it or whether you'll go back to optimizing your morning routine and wondering why nothing changes. The top 1% made their choice. Now make yours.